Yo, what's good, guys? It's Nightwing2303 from WearTesters.com. Welcome back to another edition of WearTesters Real Talk. We have asked you guys on the WearTesters Instagram, is that correct?
Yes.
So we've asked you over there for you to ask me anything. So fire away.
This has nothing to do with shoes, but people want to know your thoughts on Daredevil 3.
It was good. It was so good. It was amazing. I binged it in how long?
24 hours.
Was it really that fast?
It was pretty fast, like maybe 36 because you did take a nap somewhere in there.
Dude, it was so awesome. I wouldn't say it was the best, but there was stuff in it that was fantastic. I loved the way that they portrayed everybody. Everybody in there was awesome. I've read all of those books. They pulled storylines from so many different novels. And so I've read all of the separate stories, and the way that they had kind of I wouldn't say blended them all together, but it's kind of what they did. It was very loose. It was its own story, but there was little hints that you could tell were from, Born Again and all that stuff. And that stuff I really liked. I'm wondering when, did you ever read, I can't remember what it was called. I think it was Daredevil Yellow.
I don't think I've read any of the Daredevils.
Maybe it wasn't Daredevil Yellow. I'm getting them all confused. I've read all of them, so I don't know which one's in my head right now. But there's one where Karen Page dies, and she's supposed to die in the comics. And so I'm every season that this show is on, I'm wondering is this it? But she never dies, you know what I mean? And so I'm just kind of are they just not gonna do that to her? Or what? She becomes a really tragic character in the books.
Really?
Oh, fucking A, man. They kind of hinted that in one of the episodes in season 3. It was a really random episode. If you were to treat it as its own episode, which it didn't flow with the show, but if you treated it as its own thing, which it was very much so, it was a really good telling of her story. And
the flashback?
It was it was a big flashback, and it reminded me of what happens to her in the comics and stuff. But yeah, I just loved everything. I really liked Kingpin in this one. I wasn't a big fan of Kingpin in season 1, but I liked him in season 2, and I loved him in season 3. The ending battle between him meaning Daredevil, Kingpin, and Bullseye was fantastic. It was probably one of the coolest season finales I've ever seen, and it left me salivating, wanting more. Speaking of Bullseye, the dude in the show, the guy that portrayed him, did you know that he almost was Captain America in the movies?
He would have been a little too skinny.
I'm sure he could have bulked up. Chris Evans wasn't you know what I mean?
No, I know, but now he is, so it's hard to
it's taken him it's taken him 10 years to get to this point, but he is now. But that guy was up originally for the role of Captain America, which after seeing him portray Bullseye, I don't know how he would have been Cap, because while he was badass in his own way, he was a savage badass, you know what I mean? Whereas Cap is more a Boy Scout badass.
Right. Do you know that John Krasinski was supposed to be up for Captain America as well?
The guy from The Office?
Yeah.
No.
And when he found out who had gotten it, he was yeah, he's much more of a Captain America than I am.
Well, Chris Evans, to me, I don't not like the guy, but when I see him in interviews, he kind of, I don't know what it is about him. He just seems he's not being real. I don't know, maybe that's just really him. He's just really that weird, but like I said, I don't know him personally, so I don't want to say anything, but the way that he portrays himself as Cap, I love him as that. I'm not really a fan of him though. So yeah, so I think it's kind of weird, but the guy that plays Bullseye was a fucking nut
He was pretty cool.
In this series. He made you love the character, as the character, and I wouldn't say sympathize, but before he goes nuts, you're just oh my god, this guy's crazy, he in a good way, oh, this dude's a badass, right? And then he goes nuts, and at that point I felt bad for the guy, and I was man, this sucks, for him. And then he turns into Bullseye they don't ever say the name Bullseye, which I think was cool. But when he turns into Bullseye, it was back to the, oh my god, this guy's a badass again. I was just he's giving Daredevil he's shooking this guy up, man. And that was the coolest part, is that Daredevil in this series was so broken, and I feel that's his theme with every series, but he's 4 seasons in now if you include Defenders, worth of broken. Talk about a damaged character, and this dude went up against this guy, and he just had his ass handed to him, and he knew it afterwards. He was yo, I can't even beat this dude, I have to get close to him, because if you were anywhere not near him, the guy's just he's literally literally a bullseye. It was crazy. The thing that he did that I love the most, Bullseye, is he did what Daredevil hasn't done with his Billy Club things in the comics. So like in the comics, Daredevil uses those and they talk and they ricochet off of everything. And he's never done that in this show. And Bullseye is the one that's done it. And when he did it the first time, he like hit it on the floor and it popped Daredevil in the chin. It was so sick, and the sound that it made, like it was like a, and it was exactly the way that I read it, like, or hear it in my head when I'm reading it. And so it was just, it was the coolest thing ever. Like when they can get a sound right and like make it to where like it's exactly the way that you had imagined it when there's never been that sound before, because they never used those sounds in like the animated series stuff and all that. Like Daredevil never had his own animated series, but he was in like Spider-Man.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, and they never did that stuff. And so it was just so like, it was f***ing awesome. It was so cool. It was such a great series. I love just the Daredevil series in general, and season 3 was just fantastic.
Well, my apologies for busting in on the last episode and talking to you through it, going, who's that? What's happening here?
Was I bothered?
You didn't act bothered. You were very nice about it and answered me, but I didn't realize it was the last episode and you had to like answer all my questions through it.
Nah, it was so good, dude. It was so good. What a good comic book series.
Let's talk about the Warriors and the KD and Draymond Green drama.
Do we have to?
You don't want to?
I don't know. I keep watching like other, like, I don't know why I click on it. I f***ing hate drama.
You secretly like it then, if you're clicking on it.
I'm not clicking on like the two of them. I'm clicking on other people's opinions on it. And they're like previous players, like Tracy McGrady. I just watched one this morning on Matt Barnes and stuff like that. And I don't know what to think about it. Like that's the thing, is that like they're all like kind of like giving their takes.
Yeah.
And everybody's saying something different, which I think is really weird because they are all players or like former players. Like Tracy thinks that the stuff that Draymond said went too far.
I agree.
And I agree with too. And then I watched Matt Barnes' thing and he was just like, look, man, this just happens. Like guys do this. And like, I was like, that's right. Like they do. Cause like I've been on teams too. And like I've been in that situation also. And I was like, yeah, like that happens. And then you get over it and then you keep going. You know what I'm saying? And so like, I don't know what to think. I just think that what Draymond said was kind of like, it was overboard, it crossed the line. The way that KD is, I feel so bad for this guy because like he seems super sensitive. You know what I mean? It's hard to explain because I don't, again, like much like Chris Evans, right? Like I don't know KD personally.
Yeah.
I just know what he shows, right? And so what I see of him, he looks like he's trying to please everybody. And you can't live your life that way because then you end up pleasing nobody because you can never please everybody.
True that.
And the one person that you're supposed to please is yourself, you know? And it doesn't feel like he's grasped that concept.
You don't think he's found himself?
I don't know if it's that or if he's just not happy with himself or like, I don't, like I said, I don't know him, so I don't know. I've never talked to him. I mean, I have talked to him, but like it was quick.
Yeah.
And I didn't ask him anything profound. It was like, hey, can you stand over here? Because I need the light. Like, I don't want you to look like a shadow.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So like it was for like a video. Otherwise, like I just don't talk to him. Like I'm not his friend, you know? The whole situation is what it is. That's all there is to it. Like something that Matt Barnes said was that when you are the #1 team, the media is just looking for something.
Yeah,
and so
that's true.
That's something too, you know what I mean? And when you have two guys on a team where one wanted the ball and one normally brings up the ball, like obviously there's gonna be a little spat right there. There's gonna be like, hey, you're supposed to give me the ball, I'm the superstar. And then Draymond's like, no, I normally run the show here. Like I know that Curry's the point guard, but if you watch their games, Draymond runs the offense. So, which is weird, but like that's just kind of like how that team works.
Right.
So yeah, it's just, you know, I don't know. I'm not on anybody's side. I just want the Warriors to do their thing. I have no real thoughts on it. It's basketball. I kind of agree with everybody's thoughts that I've heard so far.
Can't we all just get along?
It would suck though to be stuck on a team with somebody that you don't like.
Ugh.
You know what I mean? And you're in contract with them too. Like,
well, that's the worst one.
Like,
and
the whole Jimmy Butler situation, I know, right? Like talk about a nightmare situation. Like I don't know, like again, I don't know him either. It's just that what the media shows is like it made him look like such an ass, but then at the same time, you don't know what's going on in that locker room.
Right.
You know, like you don't know if everybody's just being an ass to him. And he's like, yo, get me out of here. Like this is whack. Like I just don't know what's going on and I don't care. It's not any of my business.
As someone who's grown up in the Bay Area, so you have no real ties to these people, what are your thoughts on Jordan, Kobe, and LeBron?
3 of the greatest ever.
Yes.
No, that is my thoughts.
Oh.
All for different reasons. ones. If I was to rank them, I'd put Jordan, Kobe, then LeBron for very specific reasons. I feel like Jordan is just the best. And if you look at Kobe, Kobe's mimicked most of his game off of Jordan. So why would I put Kobe above that, right? But at the same time, Kobe has the most meticulous and nearly flawless footwork that I've ever seen on the floor. The way that he's implemented the pivot is just amazing. The first time that I saw him reverse pivot, like I literally was blown away. I thought that he traveled at first, but then the more that I kept watching it, I was like, he didn't. But what did he do? And so I had to like replay that play multiple times. And then LeBron is more like a specimen. Like he's like just a monster that can move. The guy can move or maneuver his big bulky body better than any big guy I've ever seen. Like I remember like a long time ago, I used to love just watching just all the games, and I remember watching Shaq, and this is a young Shaq, like a skinnier but still giant Shaq, run down the floor after grabbing, I don't remember if it was a block or a rebound or something, but he grabbed the ball and he took this ball up the court by himself. He even juked out. He looked hella funny too doing it because he's so tall, but he juked out this one dude, and then he ends up just he cross-courted it by himself. For a big dude, that's pretty cool. Now LeBron does that regularly. He's not as big as Shaq, obviously, but he's still just a monster of a player, you know what I mean? Like body-wise. And so it's interesting to see a player of that size and stature be as nimble almost as a Kobe. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it's kind of, that's where I think like the comparisons, or I don't know if they're really comparisons, but like people are like Jordan would lose to LeBron or whatever and all that stuff, and it's just like he would definitely give him like a run for his money. You know what I'm saying? Because you're that big and you can move like him.
Right.
The thing though is that like the difference is that Kobe and both Jordan and Kobe, they both can adapt. That are things that I don't see LeBron do. I don't see LeBron adapt his game to anything.
Instead, he like cries or flops.
She doesn't like LeBron, by the way. Like she doesn't like LeBron at all.
I like LeBron when I see him in like
we both are very much on the same page as far as like the most simplest sense of like LeBron as a person is that we both like LeBron as a person.
Right.
You know, I like LeBron off court. I think that he seems like a really cool guy, and I like the stuff that he does involving children and community and education and all that stuff. Thing is that like I like Jordan, like I love Jordan on court, right? Not so much Kobe, although I completely respect everything that Kobe has accomplished and like I said, one of the top players of the game, but I don't like either of those two guys off the court. Like as far as like what the media has
okay, because I
portrayed them to
care
be.
For Jordan.
I think that like just as an example, I idolize this guy, and I grew up without like a father figure other than like my stepdad and stuff like that. But my stepdad was never into any of the stuff that I've been into. You know what I mean? Like he's always been in his own, and he quite literally was in his own world while I was with him, which is something that we're not going to talk about. But so me personally, I had immersed myself as a kid into fictional characters, the comic book stuff, and Jordan was the guy that I looked up to. And then in the middle of high school, or maybe it was like towards the tail end of high school, I found out that Jordan was just like everybody else in the NBA, just cheating.
He was a hoe bag?
Cheating. Not cheating in the game, but cheating on his spouse.
That's why I called him a hoe bag.
I know that, but I'm just like making sure that people understand what I'm saying. Like from that point, like, and I know that that's a personal thing, and so like you shouldn't maybe, I don't know, like plenty of people judge Kobe based off of something that he was never found guilty of. The fact is that like you think something of somebody and then you find out that they're not what you thought that they were. It was like a blow, you know what I mean? And I was just like, man, that kind of sucks. Like I thought that he was like one of the good guys. Not that he's a bad guy, it's just that he didn't you don't get married to somebody and then cheat on them. Like break up with them. If y'all don't want to be together anymore, then figure that out and then do your own thing. But don't do it while you guys are still together. It's just a big mess. I was like, so like, what? And then you find out like now it's normal, you know what I mean? Like every athlete, I mean, I've been with a few of them at these like, I can't remember, it was just a regular hotel that I was at, but like it was like a hotel that was like run by the NBA and like the association, the Players Association. That was one of the wildest experiences I've ever been like ever.
Was this when the pimp talked to you?
Yeah, the pimp talked. No, that was in LA. That was a different experience. That was funny, in a weird way. Somebody asked me if I needed some loving that night, and I was like, no, thank you. I'm flattered, but thanks. Or maybe I shouldn't be flattered. Maybe I'd just be like, well, do I look that lonely? You know what I mean? But like,
You were missing me?
I don't know, man. It was a weird situation. But no, I was at NBA All-Star Weekend. I ended up at the Players Hotel, like where the players like will all stay like in random places and stuff. But there was this one hotel that the Players Association like rented out or whatever, practically the whole thing. But the weird thing is that the atmosphere. I mean, the girls there just. I mean, look, like it just. I don't even know how to explain it.
They were thirsty.
They were everywhere, and they wanted these guys. And so it's like, I get the temptation, because it's so easy. And these guys might be guys that just never had that before, you know what I mean? Maybe they have, I don't know. It's so like you can literally take your pick, and they don't care either, like the girls. Like, they just want their turn, which is a weird concept in general. But like, it was so strange to me to see that. And, you know, some of the guys love it, and then some of the guys are like, no, get away from me. It's just really interesting, you know? And like I said, if you like that stuff, I'm not going to judge you. It's just that don't get married then. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying. Like, just don't get married. Just do your thing and then get married when you're ready. Don't get married because you feel like you have to, but then you still do anything that you want to do, because that's just not what marriage is about. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so it's just, I don't know, man. But yeah, so I like LeBron off court. I don't like LeBron on court, but I acknowledge his greatness. Right? And then same thing with Kobe, although Kobe's the weird one. Kobe I don't like on or off court. But I do appreciate.
You respect his abilities.
Yeah, completely. Like, the guy's a fantastic basketball player. Very intelligent too, as far as like basketball goes. And then Jordan is the opposite, kind of how I idolize this guy. It was partially my fault. I put him on a pedestal, and then he kind of like let me down or whatever. So like, I still idolize him on the court. I'm able to separate. Mm-hmm. Some people aren't. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. That's up to people's interpretation. But I'm able to separate the athlete from the person. And as an athlete, I just think that Jordan is just, I mean, I still want to, like, right now, I still want to be like Mike. Like, it's just, you know what I mean? It's just a thing. Yeah, I don't want to be like him off the court, but like,
Thank you.
Right? but on the court, like, I would love to be like him, you know? So that's just all it is.
Well, my thing for Jordan is like what you're saying about Chris Evans. I don't really know anything about Jordan, except for who he is, but he like rubs me the wrong way.
Have you seen him in interviews or what?
It just, even his commercials bother me. Like, I'm just not into him. There's something about him. There's just something about him that I don't.
So you just get a vibe?
Yeah, I'm not into him.
I get that, because I get vibes off of everybody.
Yeah.
It's either a good one or a bad one.
You have like a meter.
Yeah, if I don't like you, you know right off the bat. Like, if you give me a weird vibe, like, I'm already like, I'm not, like, I'll be nice and everything, but like, I'm not really with you.
Yeah. Well, interesting that you were talking about father figures. Not that this guy was your father figure, but Stanley passed away. Do you have any thoughts about him that you want to share? No? Nothing? Can we get a favorite cameo out of you?
Was that the original question?
Yes.
Okay.
You look like you're gonna cry.
I don't want to talk about it.
Oh. Okay. So skip it.